it's a journey, right? And the ending keeps moving, right? So it's really a continuous improvement in the way we do things. IT really is an enabler for us to do things more efficiently and better, but it never stops. You know, you have to continuously improve. Today we have digitalization, going digital. Those are buzzwords. But tomorrow there will be something else. And we have to continually strive in order to achieve those efficiencies as a company. 12 years ago when I came to Maynilad, we actually already had an ERP. It was basically set up to automate a manual process. So in other words, we were not really getting the benefit of it. And so it was a complete re-engineering and redesign of all the process, starting from finance, logistics, procurement, and then all the way to projects, maintenance, etc. So really the pain point was that it wasn't really set up properly using the best practices. And that was actually the trigger of why we did that. You know, the ERP is the main back-end system that we have. And it covers really all departments and all divisions in Maynilad. And you need efficiencies in order for us to do things in a good manner. And the ERP is that piece that's in the back end that enables us to do that. Without an ERP, there will be lack of control, lack of governance, very inefficient processes. When I say inefficient, that means you need more time, more people to do things. So it was, and still is, a major part of our business. It's based on mutual trust. Now, that's a very big word, an abused word, right? They say, you know, relationship, etc. But that relationship has to be founded on the trust in the ability for Delaware, in this case, to be able to deliver and execute. Otherwise, you know, partnership is just a word. And I think that we have gotten that from Delaware. We know that within the, you know, the scope of these projects, they're able to deliver and give us value. As I mentioned, even talking about processes, give us value in terms of advising us on what are the best practices before we implement. And I think that is essential for any partnership to work. It is really very hard to get a reliable system integrator. And usually when we find one, we tend to stick to those partners. No? So when we searched, especially for the ERP, we searched around and we found Delaware. And we tried Delaware in a small way. And usually that's a test. So afterwards, we know that they can deliver and we can do more complex and bigger projects. So that was really, you know, the strategy we always employ. Yeah, well, we've been with Delaware for over 6 years, I think. So what made us stick to it? We know that the right technical management skills are available. We can see the way Delaware works in terms of project management. In fact, we have our own methodologies on how to do projects and how to do things within IT. And they're able to really adapt that and provide value in terms of advising on how we do processes more efficiently. And that's really the reason why we have stuck with Delaware. The most recent complex project we've done is our CMMS, Computerized Maintenance Management System. So what it encompasses is to set up the whole asset structure, across our more than 150 plants that we have, and be able to identify and to schedule the different maintenance on those assets. Meaning to say corrective maintenance, but more importantly, preventive maintenance and condition-based maintenance. So what we were able to achieve, I can't think of the exact figures, but definitely more efficient way of doing maintenance, moving more towards preventive rather than corrective maintenance, which means that you spend less on maintenance, you are able to increase the life of the asset, and you're able to optimize the resources, the skilled people that we have in doing maintenance across the organization. And last but not least, it gives you a rich source of information as to what the condition of the asset is, because you can see the whole history of all the maintenance done, and you can actually analyze on how to further refine and improve the maintenance program that you set. And that project took over 3 years. So just to imagine, and it's the biggest project we've ever done, and Delaware was the one leading that. It's a combination of technical management skills and ability to execute. And very important is, of course, project methodology. As I mentioned, we have our own methodology. In fact, that's one of the topics in my book that was published, which is called Managing Information Technology, which tells us how to properly do a project in order to succeed. Now, as I mentioned, it's a 3-year project, and CMMS is not simple, and so there are a lot of risks. So we had to address many of these risks first before we even started the project. And I would say some of the key areas for the success is maturity of the organization, meaning to say Maynilad, or as an organization, has to be ready to do this. And that means actually getting the right people involved in the project, because you need the right people to do the design. It shouldn't be taken as an IT project. It has to be the maintenance people, the asset people, the finance people that are involved in designing, all the blueprints that will go into the system. Of course, corporate sponsorship from the most senior levels, and we had that, right? And of course, lastly, the provider, the system integrator, in this case Delaware, again, should have the right skills in order to be able to deliver all this. And I think it was, surprisingly for me, quite a smooth project considering the complexity. So yeah, looking back, I would say, and I think one of the questions is, what would you do differently? I would say I would do it all over again in the same way, because it went very, very well. I think everything went pretty smooth. I think we would do it again, right? We even got caught in the pandemic, somewhere towards the end. But I would say in general, things went quite well, and I think we wouldn't change anything. Yeah. It's the management skills, it's the technical skills, especially in executing ERP projects, and that trust that we built over the years, wherein you don't need to worry about every nitty-gritty thing, because you know that there's a common understanding in terms of how we do projects and how we do things, and the ability to execute that.